Moment of truth, does it work? Show you in a second. These holes are so I can screw it to the wall if I choose to, but does it work? Let's see. I call that a win. Oh, and the beauty of this design, you can see these holes here. If you made some more spacers, you could put single 1-inch wide pieces of tape in here and continue that thing. You could build those things out so that you could put this size in, then this size in. It's unlimited this way by not building it with one solid piece of wood. Just keep adding 2x4s. Pieces of plywood in there. Bing, bing, bing. Add a divider. Bing, bing, bing. Add a divider. Add the end cap. Bing, bang, boom. Multi-function tape dispenser. Thanks for watching, everybody. I hope you got something out of this video. Like, subscribe, and share. Catch you on the next one. All right, everybody, we open up Carveco Maker, starting with a new model, 24 by 24 inches, origin in the left corner. Switching to the 2D view, starting with a rectangle, adjusting the size here. And I'm not going to go through each step by step. I'm just going to kind of give you an overview of what I'm doing here. The original height was 5.5 by 8, I believe, wide. We created the square. Then I wanted to put a little base on the bottom of it, so I made the base a 1/2 inch tall, and I believe the base was 1 inch overhang on each side, so that would be 10. Then I want to join this base to this rectangle here, and there's multiple ways to do this. You can do like I'm going to do here, drag it in place and then use the snip tool to cut it off. You can merge the vectors, you can weld them together, but I use the snip tool and I use auto join. I just find that easier. I cut the lines off there, and we've got the basic shape that I'm looking for the tape roller. I measured a full roll of tape with a set of calipers to get a nominal size. That was about 5.5, I believe. So I pulled this thing into the center so that I could get the U shape, so I could create a recess for that tape roll to set down into. I did a relative offset here from the bottom of the base. I wanted the bottom of the hole, or the bottom of the U-shaped channel, to be 1 inch off the bottom. And at first I put in a 1/2 inch, so I had to put 2 lines on there to correct that. Not a problem in Carveco, easily done. We go up to the top to view, down to the bottom, and delete all the guides to get rid of the confusion. So next, what did I do here next? I copied and pasted because I needed the base over again. So you slide that off to the left so I can have that to work with. This is how I made the end caps, and I made the centerpieces once I had the outside shape. Whenever you do this and you've got a front and a back and you're going to have filler pieces, always complete your shape first, everything you're going to do to it, then copy it and pull it aside. That way you know all of your dimensions, all of your holes, everything lines up. Now that smaller circle there on the right you saw is obviously the puck that goes inside of the tape to roll it with. I put a slightly larger hole in the center than that. I went 0.55, and the hole through the face and the back is actually 1/2 of an inch. Here what I'm doing is I'm making a straight line off of each side of that circle so that I can obviously cut out the horseshoe here. Going to go back to the snip tool and remove everything in the middle, and it gives me a nice straight horseshoe shaped object there when I'm finished. And because I'm using auto join, everything is already joined together. I don't have to do any welding or any joining vectors. Here I'm going to use the offset, not the offset, the fillet tool, changing between 1/2 of an inch and 1/8 of an inch. Obviously we can't make square corners on the inside, so we'll put some fillets on there, fillets on the ends, just so that it's not sharp when you're running your hands over it. Now here I wanted to lower the front side where the tape actually comes out of, so I drew a straight line, back to the snip tool again, and we nip off the corners. So the right hand side is slightly lower than the left side. And as I said, you can't do a square corner on an inside corner, so we're going to round those right there just a little bit to make it a smoother turn. 1/2 inch radius right there to knock that corner off. Matches the top of the inside pieces. And away we go. Now, what I didn't do here when I made this, well, let me start with this. I cut a little recess right there for that blade cutter that you saw me put on there. I might not have caught that in the video, but there was a 1/16 of an inch recess there so that that blade would fit in flush when I put it in. Again, back to my favorite tool, the snip tool, to remove these vectors, cut that off. Now we have a nice little recess. And I didn't worry about putting a fillet on the inside of that. I figured whatever happens, happens. So that's the way we went there. And I do this a lot of times. I'll put in text and just name the pieces so that I don't forget what they are or where they go. This one isn't too complicated, but I did it anyway out of habit. And I kept messing up here. I kept trying to make the text, and I forgot that I had to deactivate the first text group in order to put the second text group where I wanted it. And anytime you're doing text in Carveco, you have to create the text after you type it. Otherwise, it'll disappear the next time you do something with your program. Here I'm texting along a curve on the outside of this thing. And if you look real close, I misspelled a word there. I'm not going to tell you which one it is. If you catch it, put it in the comments below. So I moved it to the top of the wheel, and I just used the transition tool is what I was looking for to slide it back in. I really didn't care if it matched the shape of the old circle. I just wanted it in there. And there you have it. Completely designed. Tool pathing is pretty simple. It's some profile tool cuts and some pockets. Going to move this out of the way. Going to draw a square around that object. I do this a lot too. I oversize my stock to begin with. Then I'll draw a square around it when I'm finished programming. And I'll use the crop tool to cut away the excess. I like to leave roughly 1 inch all the way around my stock. So go to Model, Crop, and as you can see, it cuts off all of the excess. Go back to the cursor tool, delete the square that I started with, and I'm going to put this back in here for efficiency. That way I'm not wasting material cutting out another circle for no reason. I've got space there. Let's use it. I aligned those vectors to center each of them, and then I'm going to put F9. Once I'm done with this, I'm going to hit F9 and make sure that that complete assembly is in the middle of my work surface or my work area. And then it's nothing but tool paths. You can make your tool paths for this block. I started with 3/4 of an inch, I'm sorry, 1/2 inch material here. And I always go less than the actual thickness. You saw me cutting out the piece on the bandsaw. I don't like wrecking my wasteboard, so I stopped the bit short from going all the way through, cut it off with the bandsaw, then use a flush trim bit to clean up the outside edges. And again, no tabs, no sanding, no messing around. It's perfect when you do it that way. We give it a name, and you can always name it whatever you like down here. I misspelled something there too. If you can catch that, put it in the comments. So now what you do is, once you've created all of your tool paths and you are complete with one object, or both of these objects in this case, you can actually finish up what you're doing, grab that whole assembly and slide it off of your work area, and then you can do the outside pieces right on top of where you started from. And when you do save your tool paths, you'll just reorganize your tool passes and create 2 separate files, and the machine won't know any different. It won't know that you've overlapped or put things on top of each other on the same work area. I'll show you that here in just a second. Once I make those, close that out. You have to go over and turn the light bulbs off so the software doesn't recognize it. Slide that one out of the way. Grab that entire outside assembly and slide it over with F9. Puts it right in the middle of your work area again. And then we just generate all of these tool paths. And then when we go to save them, like I said, we separate them out that way. We'll have everything on the outside in one file, and then everything on the inside in another file. And when we go to the machine, obviously it's 2 separate files. The machine doesn't know that I created this on top of each other. And that's about all there is to this. Again, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you got something out of it. I'm going to stay quiet here for a little bit. Please like, subscribe, and share. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you on the next one, everybody. Oh, and don't forget, I've got a pretty awesome video coming here pretty soon with a wine and liquor cabinet that I'm making. That one will be coming out soon, folks. Come back to the channel and check and see when that one's there.